Hi everyone, my name is Parul. Welcome to my channel Parul English Lab. This video is a part of Modal Verb series, and in this lesson we will discuss must and have to. I will tell you how and when to use them and what is the difference between these two. So let's get into it. Must is a modal verb and have to is a semi-modal verb. They both have similar meaning and they both are used to express an obligation. The difference is that must highlights a personal obligation and have to highlights an external obligation, a law or a rule. Must is used to show the necessity or importance of something. Have to is used to indicate that the subject is bound to act in a specified manner because of some external pressure. Now that external pressure can be a law or a rule or a senior boss, etc. Now let's understand this thing in detail with some examples. I must work hard to get the scholarship. So here no one has asked me to do it. It's not a compulsion. It's not an external obligation. This is what I feel is important, is necessary for me. If I want to get a scholarship, I must work hard. So this is a personal obligation. I'm doing it for myself because I think that it's important. So this is an obligation which I have placed on myself. I'm not answerable to anyone else, and this is not an external obligation. I must finish my house chores. So I think that it's important and I should do it. I need to do it. I must do it. So again, it's a personal obligation. It's not an external obligation. I'm not answerable to anyone. No one has asked me to do it. I think it's important. That's why I'm doing it. I must meet him next week. Again, a personal obligation. I think that I must meet him next week. I must practice English language. If I want to improve my English, I must practice every day. So this is the need of the hour. It's necessary. So here we have seen that I have used must where the work was important or where it was necessary. Now let's see where we can use have to. You have to complete this presentation by Friday. So it's an external obligation, whether he wants to do it or not, but he has to do it. It's a compulsion because he is asked to do it by an external force. That can be his boss or senior. So this is a compulsion here. So this is an external obligation. All passengers have to exit at the next stop. So again, external obligation, whether passengers want to exit or not, but they have to do it because there is an external pressure, an external obligation. So they don't have any other choice. They have to do that. You have to stay silent when you are in a hospital. Again, you have to be silent. There is no other option because as per the rule, you have to be silent when you are in a hospital. So there is again an external force, which is the hospital rules or management. You have to be silent. Max has to wear a tie at work. So here Max is forced to act according to some external power. That can be the rule of the office or the seniors, etc. So again, this is a compulsion. It's an external obligation. You have to take an appointment to meet him. So you have to follow a protocol. Again, an external obligation. It becomes a compulsion. You cannot meet that person unless you have an appointment. So you have to take an appointment if you want to meet him. Again, an external obligation. So this way, this is the basic difference between must and have to. When it's a personal obligation, you think something is important or necessary, you can use must, and when there is an external obligation, that time you have to use have to. In that case, you can't use must because that becomes a compulsion. Then you don't have any choice but to follow that. So this is the difference between must and have to. While using must and have to, just keep one thing in mind. When you talk about something that is important or necessary, then you can use must, and when the subject is obliged to do something or when it's the duty of the subject, at that time you can use have to. So that's the major difference between must and have to. Next is must and have to can be used to emphasize something. Whenever you want to emphasize something, you can use must or have to. I must say you look gorgeous in this dress. I have to say you look gorgeous in this dress. I have to say you are a kind-hearted person. I must say you are a kind-hearted person. So this way, when you want to emphasize something, you can use have to or must. You might have come across this sentence, I must admit. So generally people use I must admit before a surprising or a negative comment. For example, I must admit it was really scary. I must admit that I found you really nasty when I met you for the first time. So whenever there is a negative comment, we use I must admit, and when you want to appreciate someone, then it's better to use I must say or I have to say. Must and have to are used for strong recommendation and advice. We know that we can use should for recommendation, advice and suggestion, but yes, we can use must also for strong recommendation, advice or suggestion. For example, you have watched a movie and you found it really nice, and you told your friend that it's a nice movie, you should watch it, and your work is done. You have given a suggestion and you're done. Now, if you say that you must watch that movie, that means you don't want your friend to miss this movie. You really want him to watch it. So it's a strong recommendation, a strong advice. So this is the difference between must and should. You must watch this movie. It's amazing. You have to watch this movie. It's amazing. You must give up smoking. It's really dangerous for you. What are you doing to yourself? You have to quit smoking. You must quit smoking. You have to get a new job. It's high time now. You have not been working for last 6 months. You have to find a job now. We have to leave now. It's getting so late. We must leave now. We have to leave now. You must revise all the chapters before the exam. You have to visit us while you are here. So whenever there is a strong recommendation, advice or suggestion, you can use must or have to. Must and have to are used to say that something must be true or must happen. There must be a calculation mistake because I counted the money and the calculation was perfect, the amount was perfect. Now you are saying that there is some discrepancy, so I think you should count again. There must be a calculation mistake. There has to be a calculation mistake. There has to be a reason for his strange behavior. He is a nice person. He never behaves badly. So there must have been a reason, or there has to be a reason for his strange behavior. Let's go and ask him, what's the matter? So this way, whenever you talk about something that must be true or must happen, in that case you can use must or have to. One more thing I want to tell you, must is used with the verb, first form of the verb, subject plus must plus first form of the verb. Now have to, if we talk about have to, so have to can be used in present, past and future. For present, we know how we can use have to when we are talking about an external obligation or there are other situations which we just have discussed. So subject plus have to, I have to, and then first form of the verb. Now if you want to use it with the third person like he, she or it, then in place of have you will use has. He has to, she has to, they have to, it has to. So this way we can change has or have. Now if you want to use have to in past, then the sentence formation would be subject plus had to plus first form of the verb. Now when do we use have to in past? When we talk about any past external obligation. For For example, last week I had to prepare my presentation in just one day because I had an external pressure, maybe from my boss or senior, that I had to prepare the presentation in just one day. So a past external obligation. In present we know how we have to use it. Now for future, when you have an external obligation in future, next week I will have to go shopping with my friend because he's getting married and he wants me to go with him. I can't say no. This is an external obligation. Whether you want to do it or not, it's not your choice. It's an external force, external obligation. So you have to do it. So subject plus will have to plus first form of the verb. I will have to go shopping with my friend. I will have to prepare the presentation. I will have to study for exam. So this way you can use have to in present, past and future. Next we use must to show that something is logically the result of something else. How? Someone must be at the door because my dog is barking. So generally when someone is at the door, my dog barks. So right now he is barking, so there must be someone at the door. So logically there must be someone at the door. He must be waiting. I'm not sure whether he is waiting or not, but I was supposed to meet him at 9:30 and it's already 10 o'clock, so I'm assuming that he must be waiting right now. So why I have used waiting, wait plus ing, because it's a continuous action. It is showing a continuous action. I'm assuming that this action is going on right now. So he must be waiting right now. She must be sleeping. I tried to get in touch with her, but she didn't pick up the phone, so she must be sleeping. I'm assuming about it, but somehow logically I'm sure about it. He must be busy right now. They must be enjoying. They are in a party right now, so they must be enjoying. I'm assuming that they must be enjoying right now. So this way, when you think that something is logically the result of something else, so we can use must. In this case, we don't use have to. Generally, we use must. Next is must is used in public signs and notices indicating laws and rules. So if you look at the notices indicating laws and rules, so generally they have must. They use must. Passengers must buy the tickets. Visitors must carry their ID cards. Next is must is also used to talk about the possibility in past. So if we have to use a modal verb in past, we will use it with have. Subject plus must have plus V3, third form of the verb, past participle. Now let's see how we can frame a sentence. The cake is missing. Max must have taken it. So here the cake is missing, which I prepared in the morning. Now it's missing, and I know that Max likes cake a lot. So I am assuming that Max must have taken it. I have not seen him, but it's my assumption, but I'm sure about it that he must have taken it. I must have dropped the keys in car. I'm not sure about it, but I can assume that I must have dropped my keys in car because when I started from home, I had my keys with me, then I sat inside the car, and now when I stepped out of it, I can't find my keys, so I must have dropped them in car. He looks happy. He must have got the job. He looks happy. He must have got the job. I don't know whether he has got the job or not, but it's my assumption, but I'm sure about it. So he must have got the job. She must have disclosed the news. I know her nature. She can't be quiet. She must have told everyone about the secret. She must have disclosed the news. So this way, whenever you talk about the possibility in past, you will use must have. We have seen where we can use must and have to. Now let's see how to make negative sentences using must and have to. So when we have to use must not, the rule is same, subject plus must not plus first form of the verb, and generally we use contractions with modal verbs. So must not is mustn't, M-U-S-T-N'-T, mustn't, mustn't. Okay, now we use must not when something is prohibited or not allowed. When something is not allowed, we use must not. For example, students must not cheat. It's not allowed. It's prohibited. People must not drive after drinking alcohol. It's a crime. It's not allowed. Children must not talk to strangers, or children mustn't talk to strangers. It's not allowed. You must not travel with a fake passport. It's a crime. It's against the law. It's prohibited. So whenever something is prohibited or not allowed, you can use must not. Next is have to. When you need to make a negative sentence with have to, you will use don't have to or do not have to. Don't is contracted form of do not. So don't have to shows that something is not necessary, it's not needed, it's not required. You don't have to drop me. I have my car, I can go on my own. You don't need to drop me, you don't have to drop me. You don't have to apologize. It's not a big deal. It's not your fault. You don't have to apologize. It's not necessary, it's not required. Max doesn't have to study tonight. So here does not, we know with he, she, it, singular third person we use does, and otherwise don't. Max doesn't have to study tonight because he has studied a lot. He has completed his course. Now he doesn't have to study tonight. Children don't have to go to school on Saturday. So this way, when something is not necessary, when something is not needed, is not required, we can use don't have to. Now I hope you all have understood the concept of must and have to, when and how to use them. Start practicing and try to make some new sentences and keep learning. That's all for today. Stay tuned. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great day. Thank you for watching my videos. If you find them helpful, please like and share with your friends. Feel free to leave comments. Do subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to receive a notification for the new videos. Thank you, take care and have a great day.